I'm Ariana.
And my name's Ryan.
And this is
I Wear Grippy Socks.
She wears no strings, I wear grippy socks. She's in the psych ward, I'm in the detox.
A mental health podcast by two know-nothing millennials from a seriously non-clinical viewpoint.
This episode may contain graphic content, so please be advised.
And remember,
thank you for being here.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of I Wear Grippy Socks.
Hello, hello.
We are here today, and we are going to be discussing ketamine therapy.
Ooh,
I've been doing some research today. I have notes. I'm actually somewhat prepared, so if you see or hear me flipping through my notes, well, then just, be happy that I took some notes,
Exactly. That's why it's going to be interesting because, to be honest, I really have no... Really, the only thing I know about ketamine is that it's used for horse tranquilizing. So I think we, wanted to set this up as if, this is the first time I'm going to be here a lot of this information, and it's going to be, I guess, a learning experience and seeing if it's something worthwhile to really, look into the next step, and if it might be helpful, for him or anyone else out there. So I think it's going to be an interesting, fun, hopefully learning experience today.
100%. Yeah, I forgot that. Because there has been, like even this morning, just disclaimer, people, we kind of had a little spat this morning.
We did.
Because I don't really know what the reason. I guess to me, I'm like, she's like, you do the research. I'm like, bro, I've done, I've done it. I've done worse. I've done better. I mean, what other research do I need? I'm like, I will take any substance that I find on the ground. I mean, in the past, like if I find something on there, I'll take it, drugs or not.
And of course, this is why I was a little more like, oh gosh, let's just look into it. And I think that I'm very open. I feel like as a person who to a lot of not, I guess, unconventional, I guess people would say. To other drugs and stuff, and I think there's a lot of good benefits, and I just personally do not know enough about this, and so just coming from a I want to make sure, like, if this is something really you're gonna take the next step and do, it's as safe as possible. And I've heard you obviously talk about in passing the last little bit, and if some of the, without going into the details, some of it does sound really great. There's a lot of amazing things, and I think I would love to obviously get to know a little bit more about it, because we could be hopefully essentially helping other people out there. Yeah. We just got to do the research,
Fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Yes, so I did do a little bit of research earlier, which was interesting because, I mean, the research I've done was like, hey, it treats depression, like, hey, full send.
Sounds great.
But they really do. I mean, they look into it went very deep. I mean, some of these things went very deep. But basically, so to start off, ketamine has been used as an anesthetic since the 1970s. I guess they started using it in the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And, I guess if I was in war, I'd probably want to be on ketamine as well. So it wasn't really until, so there was this dude named John Crystal.
What a name.
What a name. My man, John Crystal, he was at Yale University. He is now the chair of psychiatry there. Oh. I guess that's prestigious.
Sounds cool.
I don't really know what that means. But so they are the ones who started looking into, I guess, really studying it for treatment for depression, in people with treatment-resistant depression, they call it. But to start off, I have 3 myths about ketamine.
Okay.
Number 1, ketamine is often called a horse tranquilizer. It's given a very bad rap, like it's only used for horses.
That's the only context I have with it.
It is not only used for horses, it's used for all animals. All animals like to party, I mean, don't try to limit it just to the horses. So it has been tranquilizing people too for many years. Okay. So whether that's good or whether that's bad. Number 2, and these facts are true because I got them off a ketamine treatment website, and they would not be biased. They say ketamine is not physically addictive, but it can be psychologically addictive when abused.
Okay.
So I think we have more on that later. There's no rhyme or reason to these notes, people. We're just going to be going through it.
Yeah, and I think that, I get right there. I guess I guess one of my concerns too is obviously that addiction side. Like, so I know you have said in the past it's a great antidepressant-esque, or helping with, I guess, getting stuck in ruts essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that also going to affect, with different behaviors? Is it just proven to have affected a lot of people who just with depression, or how big did was there a big kind of scope on that, with even on the level of addiction or anxiety? I don't know the other list of things.
No, I'm with you. Actually, I was looking into the use of ketamine, treating addiction with ketamine. But ketamine actually has shown to effectively prolong abstinence from alcohol and heroin in detoxified individuals.
Oh.
Reduce craving and self-administering of cocaine in non-treatment seeking cocaine users. So they want to proceed a list of reasons it possibly works. And we can go into more of these. But really, when you look into it, the depression thing, the addiction thing, really a lot of it...
Hand in hand?
In terms of, like, the neuroscience behind, like, I feel like what is going on between...
The two.
Yeah. But the possible reasons it works is enhancements of neuroplasticity and neurogenesis. Helping your brain make new connections. Disruptions of relevant functional neural networks. Treating depressive symptoms, blocking reconsideration of drug-related memories, provoking mystical experiences, and enhancing psychological therapy efficacy.
Okay, so then how do they then set this though? Okay, with all these benefits, how is it now? Did you do any looking at administrated, and how do they talk? So it's a therapy session. How is that then? How do you take it, and what would essentially, do you know what they sort of would do, or
right.
how not? I don't know.
I guess so. The one that intrigued me, and I will have to look obviously more into going somewhere, but the idea to me of going somewhere I did not like. The one that I was looking into was you do it at home, but a lot of times you'll go in IV, and I guess your
drip bag thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I asked the one girl, and I asked someone who does ketamine therapy, and I need to go out there really, because I don't know if it's if they're in there. The one that I looked into, the at-home one, it's you do a video call. I think it's 2 sessions with the Zoom call, and then... So
they're so they're actively asking you questions while you're under, or is it just a monetary kind of standpoint?
I'm not sure. I guess maybe I feel like they maybe ask questions. But I'm not 100. I think the one that I was looking into, it was a few of the times you do it on your own, and then another time, or they give you some kind of guide to follow, and you journal.
Do the steps along with it.
But I have been, I was just worried about it being a super doctory kind
I
of
could
setting.
see that. I think hospitals in general are freaking scary.
Right.
They're not a good vibe.
Right.
Most of the time.
Because I was thinking there's one. I know it's completely different, but there was a study where they're doing DMT, and they're administer, and I'm dude, I wouldn't want to do that
in the right environment.
To me, I would rather do it by myself.
I think we actually talked base about that previously, especially for me, if doing any sort of mind altering thing. I think your mindset where you're at, even at that moment,
100%.
Is
that's
super
everything.
important. Yeah, exactly.
And it can shift it literally any second. I mean, it can set it off.
Hell yeah. So I definitely see, I think where my scaredness of that obviously is, it's obviously intimidating thinking of it taking though something that is I'm mind altering, you know what I mean, on that sense at home, for someone who doesn't know, or who would be watching you, even I feel maybe a little intimidated. I think that's why I feel being at a clinic, obviously I feel you might have to look around, because I think you don't want to be in a bad headspace. Once again, hospitals suck, so but being at home also has another great quality to it. But I think also a little bit maybe for people who are at home trying to help monitor, at least for me, I like that. I'm like that with even other drugs, so you know what I mean? I want to do even more, like you said. Maybe go check out some clinics too.
Right. And I mean, I can see where there's hesitation, and I feel there's even, I don't really know how it's going to turn out, but at this point, I feel I'm willing to give it a shot, because as much as, okay, maybe I struggle with addiction and there is a possibility that it awakens something in me. I mean, I'm not going to act like that's not a possibility, but also I am, I have been diagnosed major depressive disorder. And I would say that a large majority probably of my using stems more from
that cycle.
It's more like the dual diagnosis aspect of the depression. So to me, I mean, it's like, it makes sense. It's worth it.
It's
I mean, worst case scenario, what happens? I get addicted to ketamine. Damn, I've been addicted to worse.
Yeah, but we don't want to start that journey all over. Well,
yeah, no, you're right.
That's why it's like I feel very intrigued on this concept. I really am. I'm very, very interested in I think it's going to be good to figure out if this is something that is plausible. And if it does, you said like at the beginning, even with addicts, it's proven to maybe help that. And I don't know, it's hard also with all those antidepressants out there as well. Like who says this doesn't work better than a normal antidepressant? Yeah. Essentially.
I mean, straight up. Actually, so next going down to my list of notes here. This is how does it work? So basically I watched this video. There was this doctor. He looked legit. I think he had on a lab coat, maybe a collared shirt. So, pretty doctor-y vibes. It seemed halfway legit. But he was talking about, so to realize how it works, he said you have to understand what is going on in a chronically depressed or stressed brain. I guess basically a healthy brain. He describes it as a set of two sort of bushy trees, I quote, interlocking. I guess basically this is your brain. And this is your brain on depression. Yeah, there are less connections. There's less communication, between the sides of the brain, the bushes, The bushes are not
vibing.
The bushes aren't vibing. So chronically depressed and anxious brains have diminished synapses, both quantity and density, caused by repetitive thought loops, which are negative. It limits the pathways that the synapses can go through. So within a few hours, ketamine helps restore connections between the neural pathways, and they create new ways of thinking and feeling.
So almost like a regrowth of brain, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is really. I mean, when you look, allegedly, I'm no neuroscientist, but they said, what does it feel like? It's a dissociative that produces a sense of disconnection from one's ordinary reality and self that may induce or enhance feelings of creativity, purpose, I can't even read my own writing, serenity, insight, empathy, openness to new ideas, and traveling outside of oneself. Creates visual and auditory hallucinations. Ketamine and connectivity increases neuroplasticity. So basically, this is when it started getting real weird. They're making up all kinds of words. This one in particular is called glutamate. It was probably my first time ever seeing that word, I would say.
Sounds like a sort of a gluten allergy, actually.
Right? So, I think allegedly it's a neurotransmitter, I guess. I think dopamine, don't quote me on this, I'm not a doctor. But yeah, so basically, and if you're depressed, they say you don't have as much glutamate, whatever the hell that is, and it literally will shrink your prefrontal cortex, which affects memory, decision making, emotions, and attention.
That seems like you need help in those numbers.
I was like,
feeling a little called out.
I kind of was. That's why I was like, bro, I got to see what's up with this.
Yeah, that does seem like there's a good handful amount of positive attributes for it, and I really, my mind right now, and why I feel like I'm still so open to it, even going even into further research, is just the fact it does sound good. Yeah. I will say. But we also label a lot of these other, the other side of it, having all those other kind of antidepressants, like we were saying, there's also all those other side effects. Did it list any real side effects, or I guess maybe just besides becoming possibly could be addicted to it?
So let's see here. I had something here. According to the National Institute on Health, when an individual is given a lower dose than you would be given if you were given anesthesia. It's relatively low on side effects for those with treatment-resistant depressions. They said side effects are low. This was some dude. Let me see. I'm going to butcher this. Elia. My bad, doctor. Dr. Diaz, we'll say. He said the most common side effect is feeling loopy. Most side effects peaked within an hour and were gone within 2 hours. We did not see any serious related adverse effects or increased ketamine cravings with a single administration. This person is, they work with the neurobiology, the Systems for Neurobiology and Treatment of Mood Disorders at the National Institute for Mental Health.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, because I did spend time. I mean, I was like, what are the negative?
Yeah, what would be the issues? You know, what?
But I mean, there are obviously. I would say, like, as far as in the therapeutic setting, I would say you're not really. Obviously, if you go take a shitload of ketamine, you know, that you bought from that one guy, you know, if you do that, then I would say then obviously there are.
Probably bad side effects possible.
And, you know, I feel like there will be people who are like, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. But I'm like, you just really don't.
No.
I can't pretend like I haven't had profound, like, experiences on certain substances.
It's a hard, topic with psychedelics and that kind of, you know, kind of thing. Anything that is not, like, regulated as like we were saying earlier, even Adderall or something, which is absolutely insane. The difference is, so people just have a different perspective, and I see the cautionary side of being, and so it is intriguing to see what people find acceptable of what drugs are and are not, even the things that the doctors prescribe us on a daily.
Right. I mean, it is interesting when you think about it. It really is. And I mean, you're not going to find this in my notes, but I just feel... Actually, no, it was in my notes about how they were working with ketamine up until like the 90s, and then they were like, no, it might be bad, so we better stop. And I just have my real, I feel very strongly that a lot of these medicines that are maybe a little more unconventional, a lot of times, are the ones that actually get,
could help.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling me that.
He's just hitting that surface, hitting the nerve. I think, I feel like I'm in in a middle zone here for sure, because I am super aware of all those standpoints, and the things we do prescribe as doctors are sometimes not great. But I'm also here if you feel like I'm excited for this journey to start, and I'm really I hope we'll be able to take even you guys along with us, and it piques my interest, even something maybe potentially for myself, because it's not an unknown fact that that's something I struggled with, or even other family members or people I know personally. And I think sometimes if it's also the alternative, and this is why we're here, right? We're here to talk about like mental health and also the, thoughts of maybe not wanting to be on this earth anymore. And if it feels like that this might or could be a solution, I don't think it's something to exactly just shy away from. I think there is a lot more research, like I'm excited that we'll be able to look into and maybe help other people look into or bring an idea of.
See, I mean, I know there's obviously like therapy that goes along with it, and like, I mean, obviously I know you have to do work, and it's not just like this like miracle, but I mean, in a sense of if it can if it helps your brain, I mean, because when I got in the car accident, I get prescribed antidepressants like because I have a brain injury, and they're like, it can help you make new connections, this and that. I'm like, I just don't really necessarily want to do that. And then so I started actually looking into, I mean, there's no telling really to what extent that I hit my head. It's not like I'm in like a vegetative state.
No, but for people also remember he whacked his head quite good 3 years ago in a car accident. So
so I was looking up, and I mean, they've looked into helping, even using ketamine after brain injuries in the hospital as like a way to help, with the making the
reconnection.
I mean,
the brain is this. I know. Obviously, I'm also not a nurse or a doctor or
No.
anything in the medical field whatsoever, but I feel like they always are constantly talking about that, even in like a connection with like NFL players and who constantly are having traumatic
Right.
brain injuries from getting hit in the head so many times.
Right.
You know, so the brain is a super fragile, you know, thing, and just a couple of knocks or a couple of whatever, or even, you know, different substances or different, you know, literally whacked upside the head can definitely, I would say, clearly affect something.
I feel like maybe I just have like, even in my own personal experience, it's like because I feel like I don't feel like physically any different, you know. But then I don't know. I mean, at the doctor they did mention that it might change my personality. I mean, all kinds of just weird shit.
Like a shift in.
Yeah. Then I was reading an article earlier about the TBIs and aggression. But then part of me is like, well, maybe I'm just
no, oh my gosh, you know, thinking about it, that NFL player literally just went and murdered a family supposedly for no freaking reason.
That's
none, just lived in their neighborhood.
Not a good look.
Okay, yeah, maybe. But we're looking into it. Maybe if we would have had something like this, maybe something more people were talking about it, possibly. I don't know. Once again, I'm not. I'm definitely intrigued. I think I piqued my interest. I think there could be awesome benefits, but definitely want to do some. I can't wait for us to dive even more into it, because there is that it is crazy the amount that you think of NFL players too with the head accidents.
I know.
So like it literally just happened. Just
it is
wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild because I feel like, you know, you might not, unless you're out there getting like scanned for shit. I mean, I feel like there's no real reason that there's no real way to know. I mean, unless you're just like memory is like completely gone. Yeah, I feel like then it would be like more obvious, like, okay, something's up. But
if it's subtly shifting over time, or those behaviors or whatever it is, because it is like you said, the brain's super fragile. So
I feel like I've been definitely like, I don't know. I feel like I've been freaking out, but I've been going through a lot. So
it's a lot, and that's why though I don't think it's not a bad thing to say that this is maybe next something to look into, because you're going through stuff, and aren't we all? You know, and I think it's something interesting, and if it's something that could be beneficial, I don't know. It like you said, there seems like a lot of positives.
Yeah.
But I also am like, at least for me, my inner mom always screams.
No, that definitely is understandable.
You know, like, let's look into it. And I'm super excited. He actually did message someone who's been on. I think that might be really cool to talk to people who currently have used it or done it, or are currently using it as therapy or not using it as therapy, with their perspective. Even asking you guys, we should ask our question to you even. Have you done it? Like, has anyone out there done it? What are
your thoughts on it?
Yeah, come talk to us. Yeah, I think that I think this will leave us at a good place to really start diving into it even more. And if maybe there's a good doctor, maybe there's someone out there who locally in somewhere in Florida, you know, maybe there's a really awesome person we can connect with out there. Because if it is so wonderful, let's look into it. Right, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So,
yeah, I mean, hopefully starting soon, I will get the ball rolling, check some places out, because I mean they say it helps like immediate. I mean, obviously I know it's not like long term, but if it does help, because like honestly, even just the therapy aspect, I'm excited to let you guys know how it goes, whether it goes well, whether it doesn't go well. I will let you know 100%, unless I start doing ketamine all the time, which might be, you might just then.
We're monitoring. We're gonna be monitoring.
Okay.
We're monitoring.
Right,
my eyes will be on full lock. But you know, I think it will be good. I think the goal is, if I hope Ryan will be as open and as not, if you don't want to be either. But I think it'll be good, and maybe. We talked about maybe vlogging this or adding a little more material. So if this is something that it's interested you guys, it would be awesome if you guys would reach out to us too.
100%.
This is all new. So we're just in the research, I think, point. And so if you know anything, let us know. And we're ready to learn as well.
That's right.
So as always, thank you guys for being here and always listening to us and going on this weird, wild life journey, just because I feel like our mental health, we're trying to be as open with you guys
100%.
To just stop,
100%.
We're ending the stigma. We're ending the stigma. It's okay to not be okay.
That's right.
It's okay not to be okay.
That's right. All right. Much love, everybody.
Goodbye. Peace.
Godspeed.